What's up everyone, this will be a tutorial on how to use Swamp Thing. This is my first character tutorial that I made on my channel, so depending on how this video goes with the results, I'll maybe do another tutorial on a character I know how to use, like Bane, Grodd, or Brainiac. But we will start with Swamp Thing because he's my best character and that's the character I'm known for using. This guide won't include a matchup chart, so that'll be for a separate video. I'll eventually make that. With Swamp Thing, he's honestly pretty simple and easy for the most part, in my opinion. The only obstacles you might face with him is against zoners, which keep him out pretty well since his walk speed is really slow and his jump is very slow. But his offense and combos are pretty easy for the most part. He's also a low risk, low reward character. He's safe on most of his 50-50s and has some of the best range in the game, or if not the best range. Most of Swamp Thing's tools have a use. The only thing I don't suggest using is 1-1-3. It has a gap in the last hit. It's -11 on block and doesn't lead to anything. It's not a hard knockdown. Can't cancel it or anything. So I don't really find a use for it. Everything else serves its own purpose, at least one good purpose. There's a use for everything else in his arsenal. The main things you want to use in his offense are 4-2-3 and back 2-3-2. With 4-2-3 they have overheads in the strings, and with back 2-3 there's one overhead in the string, so you could do the log kick in some point of the string. So the second hit's overhead, the third hit is overhead, and the 4-2-3 string. You can mix it up with the log kick like this. And with the back 2 string, the last hit's overhead, so you can mix it up with the log. And if they're blocking a lot, you could use this move. This is the down back 2 meter burn right here. This launches on hit 2, but on block it's +6. Now the only downside is they could crouch block under the high right here and then backdash the meter burn part, which is a mid. But if you make them backdash, then that's not so bad because you're back at neutral, which is really good because Swamp Thing's neutral is one of the best in the game. Now if you're using 4-2-3, back 2-3, or any other normal string, and you notice that you catch your opponent getting opened up on the first hit, or you just punish something that's unsafe on block, then you can go for bigger damage with a bar and hit confirm it into the meter burn back 4-3. That's like your main launcher right there, is meter burn back 4-3. This is what you want to use most of the time for your combos. Swamp Thing's combos are pretty straightforward and the same most of the time. It depends what you want to go for. The basic combo I see most Swamp Things do after meter burn back 4-3 is this right here. It's a pretty easy combo and it's pretty optimized for how easy it is. It's really high damage, it covers air tech pretty well. The only thing is it's not the most meter build, but it's good in every other way. This is the most meter build, but the most meter build, it leads to like 3% less or something like that. But it covers air tech better and it's pretty good. Ending combos in vine grab is for most damage, but you can also end in the command grab, which is this. This has 3 command grabs. This one restands, does the least amount of damage, but at least you don't have to deal with wake ups if you restand them. The second command grab leaves you right next to them, and it's the most hit advantage, and it's a side switcher. And the third command grab leaves you at a far range from them, and it's the most damage, so you can follow up with like log kick afterwards, which is plus if they block it from that range, or you can follow up with 4-2-3. You can also end your combos in log kick. It depends on what character you face against, you have to test it out yourself, but some characters have weird hitboxes that affect the log kick and combos. But what's good about log kick on a hit afterwards is they're in back 2 range, down 3 range, 4-2 range. And you just have a lot of options after the log kick since you're right next to them. You can walk up down 1 or down 2, and that's really good on block because you can tick throw them into the command grab. And all of Swamp Thing's tick throws are down 1, down 2, and 2-1. So those are really good for helping you open up the opponent if they're blocking a lot. A basic corner combo for Swamp Thing after 4-2-3-3 specifically is this, because mid-screen, or at least certain ranges, you won't be able to like reach with 4-2-3. It's a weird spot outside of the corner. I'll try to show it a little bit. So there's like a range that 4-2-3 whiffs at. It wasn't that range right there, but you'll probably find it out if you play it. And then other basic corner combos are this. It's the same thing as the mid-screen combo pretty much, but the only thing is it might whiff against some characters with small hitboxes, so you can make it easier by doing this. And after the meter burn launcher, you can do something like this. So those are some pretty easy corner combos you can do. Now for the last part of the guide, this is the root of Swamp Thing, his trait, Abigail's Garden. This garden gives Swamp Thing a very scary corner game. What this does is it gives armor to the down back 2 and standing tree. And it gives armor to the vine grab, but only when you grab the opponent you'll get the armor. I don't know if I could demonstrate it with Superman because his projectiles hit instantaneously. But if you were to play against a character like Fate, if he does his orb and you grab him before the orb hits you, then the orb will hit your armor and you won't get hit from the vine grab. But vice versa, you'll get hit out of the grab. So that's how his armor works with the vine grab. And to know that whether you have armor or not on your attacks, you have to make sure you're in the garden, and to know whether you have the attacks or not, you have to make sure both feet are in the garden, or else you won't get the armored attacks. So like if you have one foot hanging off, it won't work. But if you have both, then you'll have the armored attacks and all the abilities of the garden. This garden also stops your opponent from jumping and dashing, and it can be set up during combos. This is where the hard stuff pretty much comes in. Setting up the trait can be very tedious. You'll have to remember some things about setting up the trait on certain characters. Using certain strings affects these setups too, which I'll explain. Although depending on who's watching, this may or may not be hard to understand, but I'll try to explain it as best I can shortly. Pretty much if you use a string or normal that hits your opponent's face downward or facing the floor, your trait combo probably isn't going to work if you try to set it up, so keep that in mind. Now learning the setups, for a bar you mainly want to use this launcher right here for the setups. It's the best launcher I think to use for the trait setup at least. This is where memorization comes in. Depending on what normal string you start with, you'll have to do the setup depending on the character you fight, due to hitboxes being different for every character. The setup that you can do off of standing 1, that works against every character except Captain Atom and Blue Beetle. 4-2 into the setup works against every character. Back 2, 3-2 into the setup works against every character. And down 3 works against every character into the setup. Those are like your go-to normals and strings for the trait setup. I haven't tested out every string because it'd take a lot of time, but if you want to test out the rest of the strings and normals with it, go ahead. Now mid-screen, you can do these trait setups off of 1-1 and 4-2-3, but only against big body characters. I'll show what the setup looks like, but since Superman is in big body, I have to use something else to start up the combo with. So picture that combo, that same exact combo, because the trait setup's the same with every string and normal. So picture that combo with starting up with 1-1 or 4-2-3. If you do that exact combo starting up with those strings, those only work against big body characters. The big body characters are Hellboy, Swamp, Atrocitus, Grodd, Darkseid, Scarecrow, Bane, and Brainiac. Now for the corner, 1-1 into the garden setup doesn't work against Harley, Red Hood, Superman, Joker, Ivy, Fate, and Captain Cold. Sometimes it works versus Black Adam, Aquaman, and Robin, but something with their stances kind of make it random to where sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Now if you decide to use the down back 2 launcher, like say if you can't hit confirm it and you want to use it just in case they block it to be +6, just be aware that if you do down back 2 meter burn after 4-2-3, that it doesn't work versus Harley, Joker, Enchantress, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Robin, Superman, Ivy, Fate, Captain Cold, and Black Adam. So it matters what launcher you use for the trait setup. That's why I would just go with the meter burn back 4-3 because it works versus more characters. Now, neither setup works versus Superman, Ivy, Captain Cold, and Fate. Those, like, no matter what setup you do, it won't work at all because they won't be inside the garden. So unless you end it in like log kick or some weird combo ender that you're not like familiar with doing, you like have to find a specific one for them. Yeah, you have to do that with them, but I'll just skip past that and just go straight to the combo that works for them and works for every character, but it's 2 bars, and this is what it looks like. And that setup works with every character, and it's the same as the other setup for a bar, except it's a different combo ender. After trait, instead of doing down 2 up vine, you do standing 1 into back 4-3 meter burn and then up vine. What I forgot to mention about the trait is you can activate and deactivate it. Like if you press trait once and then press it a second time, it'll stop growing. It's kind of hard to explain with words, but visually you might be able to see it. After meter burn roll, it's in level 1. So level 2, I'll just say level 2 is when it's growing, and that's when the bar is going down faster in the trait area for Swamp Thing. You'll know if it's growing if it's going down really fast, but if you stop the growing and press it a second time, the trait button, then it'll go down slower, and that's when it stops growing. And you can see as I walk out the garden, it's not growing anymore. So that's one thing to remember about his trait. Now when you end your combo with the trait and you land it, you press the trait button a second time so the garden stops growing so you can maintain it. And while you're in the garden, you can just go ham. You can go ham with standing 3, which can't be push blocked. So you can literally abuse it. Just be careful on whiff because it's death on whiff if they like delay wake up or something after getting hit. If they're blocking a lot and you want to get greedy, then you can do a lot of meter build with the back 2-3-2 string into log kick or the slap. The slap is safer on block, so it's easier to mash out armored standing tree with on block. So if they block this, just mash standing tree like for your life. You can do this with armor. It's a +6 launcher with armor in the trait, so that's good. And if they're blocking a lot, then you can just grab them if they're respecting you. So your options are pretty much endless at this point. And they also can't dash backwards or forwards or jump at all, so your tick throws are more violent in the trait. And that's pretty much it with Swamp Thing. I hope that this guide really helps. I had fun making this, and I wish everyone the best of luck. So I'll see you guys later.